and that is becoming more and more and more of an issue. And I hate to say it, but how's it going, guys? It's been a long time since I've uploaded. I know I'm bringing back the content, and I want to bring this topic into the minds and hearts of you who want to make the Navy a career, especially the submarine force, because once you're involved in the submarine force, you are the blood and soul of the war fighting that we do every single day. So a couple of days ago, the advancement quota came out for the E4 to E6 results, which come out twice a year because there's 2 exams that are taken every 6 months. There's one exam taken in March and one taken in September. Now, those 2 exams are crucial for more leadership in terms of not only manning to make sure that there's the appropriate amount of people on board the submarines, but also for the next generation of submariner yeoman to take, the bulls by the horn and lead ship's offices. So this last cycle, the advancement results were worse, if not the same, than the cycle previous. What I mean when I say that is that E6 promotion, the quota was 1 for 87 people eligible. That's not looking very good. And if you look last cycle, you start to realize it's the same number, except I feel like this advancement cycle you had less opportunity just based on how many people took the exam, if you are that person who's taking the exam. Now, the context of how I'm going to describe this is based on, if you're going to do a career, once you make E6, you fill the position of what's called the administrative officer. But in the submarine force, we call them the leading yeoman. It's a submarine force specific, name, leading yeoman. No one calls himself the leading yeoman in the surface navy. It's a submarine force exclusive pay grade to be an E6 as well, because generally in the surface fleet, admin officers are going to be E7 or above. Now, why that's crucial is the E6s are filling E7, E8, and E9 administrative officer billets on board the submarine ship's office. So that automatically means that, it doesn't necessarily matter how many E7s or E8s or E9s you have on board for sea duty, which is the most crucial part in getting the yeoman manning to where it should be, because at sea duty is crucial to keeping, our structural integrity together. Because, when you start on your first submarine and you go to shore duty, which is essentially a 3-year gap, a break, you are there, and that loss of you from that submarine requires so much push from the new sailors coming in from boot camp to fill that role, so that you can then go back to sea again after shore duty and fill the role of a leading yeoman. I know it sounds very complex. I'm trying to explain to the best of my ability, but it's really hard to explain. But basically, the reason the advancement for E6 is so bad is because we have to fill so many positions that there's no other choice to, oh man, how do I explain this? Like, I'm really trying to explain this, but it's like incredibly difficult. So basically, in a ship's office, the power dynamic is you have a junior sailor who's generally your first initial boot camp, Yeoman A school, submarine school sailor from E1 to E5. They'll generally show up on the boat E3, make E5 before they leave as that construct. That E5 will then go to a shore duty, and they'll generally either separate or re-enlist and go back to another submarine as an E5 or an E6. Now, back when I was in the Navy in 2011, the way it worked was generally after the first shore duty, the yeoman would go back to their boat as an E6. But now we're seeing more yeomen go back to their second submarine as an E5 because advancement is being held up. What that means is that being a leading yeoman, you cannot just get promoted to E7 so that more E6s can get, promoted from E5, because to make chief, which is the YNSC rate, you have to go through what's called a board, and you have to have certain qualifications for that board. So we don't have enough people making E7, which means that E6s are essentially being the full force of what's taking up the leading yeoman position on submarines, which means E5 advancement and E4 advancement is stalling and it's taking longer, which just creates a clog in the system, because we've had better E7 advancements than E6s, but then the caveat is that it's harder to make E7 based on all the requirements. So you can have a bunch of E6s who take the exam for E7, but they don't meet the minimum requirements, like I said, to be eligible. And that is becoming more and more and more of an issue. And I hate to say it, but all you can do is wonder what is going on. This is not normal. We're one of the few ratings where you look at it and you think, wait a minute, why do we have one person advancing out of close to 100 people eligible? Like, I mean, it's 87 obviously, but like, think about it. Like, that's crazy. Yeah, even advancement for E5 went down this cycle compared to last, and we have less E5s right now on sea duty. So you're advancing less E5s this time around, even though you had more that from last cycle came to this cycle, but then ended up somehow terminating their sea duty or going to shore duty. See, I can't make sense of it, but bottom line, advancement is slowing down in this rating, and I just want to let you know that. Who knows what's next?